And there we go. Welcome to my group, and I'm Kim Kenny. For those of you new to the group, I'm a weight loss coach. I help women ditch the diet so that they can lose weight for the last time. And Steph is my guest today, and she has some really great stuff to share. We've been doing a summer of speakers series, and so we've been speaking in each other's groups, and Steph has lots of great stuff to share. So Steph, I'll let you introduce yourself. Do you want to answer that text first?
I'm just going to look at it. I'm sorry. And then I'll silence my phone. My son is flying by himself. Kim and I were just talking about it, and he's texting me right now, because he doesn't know we're doing this.
Yes.
So I apologize.
And you know what? I would totally get it. If you don't answer it, you're going to be distracted thinking, I want to answer this.
Yes. He's just telling me what time his flight lands. So we're all good.
All right.
Yes. So I am Stef Richthammer with Empowering You Coaching, and I am a life and wellness coach. I spend a lot of my time supporting my clients as far as accountability and things like that. But I started this journey because of a health issue that I had, as I think is kind of what pushes a lot of us this way. And I had no support while going through the years of figuring out what was wrong with me, all the things. And so once I came out on the other side, it was just short of a 10-year process for me. Wow. I began to look for programs like nutrition and things like that, something that would help me help other women. And honestly, I was just very unhappy with the nutrition programs I was finding, because they all seemed to say, this is what fits and this is what's going to work for everybody.
Yeah.
But I learned through my process and my journey that nothing fits for anybody else but me. And everybody is so individual that you have to, be your own chemistry set, if you will. You have to figure out whether it's food or what kind of meditation you need or exercise. There is not any one size fits all. And so
true.
Then I found life and health coaching, and that seemed to fulfill me much more than any of the nutrition programs I was looking into. So that brought me to where I am now.
Yay. And now you're here.
And now I'm here, which thank you so much for having me, Kim. I'm actually
welcome.
really, really excited to be here.
Yes, I'm looking forward to everything you have to share with us. So I'll just let you take over.
Oh, awesome. So I'm actually really excited. This conversation kind of came to be after I was doing a talk in my own group about motivating your mindset. And what I realized is that, and I talk about journaling in my group. And one of the things I was talking about at one point was just about being the architect of your own life, and how planning for what you want and how you want to get it can really move you forward. And so I'm actually going to show you, because I'm a little bit of a dork and it's right here next to me. This is my journaling I do every day. And it is my gratitude. It is my affirmations. Yes, I can, really big in the middle. And then it has just my to-do stuff. But as part of that, every day I write, I'm always looking for the positive. And I think that is very powerful. But I was listening to a podcast, and I'm going to get the name of it wrong. The Happiness Project. And she was talking about the idea of, looking for the positive and being positive, and always kind of trying to have a positive outlook, and how powerful that is for people's happiness. But on the other side of that, when all we do is focus on the happy, 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 not that that's a bad thing, but when we don't anticipate the negative or the roadblocks, it stumbles us. And often what we do is we back up and we're like, can't do it. Yeah. I'm done. And so I started finding out a little bit more about that. idea. And actually in her thing, she also talked about how Navy SEALs have a whole meeting before they go into any, I don't know what the word is, any action.
Any ops, I think.
Yes. They actually have a worst case scenario meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so this meeting is literally, they know where they're going, they know what they have to do, and then they plan every single little thing that could go wrong and what they will do to get around it.
Yep.
And this way, as soon as something happens, they have an answer in their brain, right?
Yep.
And I was like, how powerful is that for us to put that into our own lives? Like they're Navy SEALs and they're, you know, the upper echelon of savers who save the world, I guess, to take my nephew's words. But
athletes do the same thing.
Yes. So I have told this story in my group a couple times, and I think Tanel touched on this when she was talking with you, that actually Michael Phelps overcame one of his biggest things. And so he, as his trainer, has taught him to do a really specific visualization of what he does from the moment he gets up to get on the block, to the whistle blowing, to how he dives into the water, to how his hand hits the water, to visualize the splash of his hand hitting the water, right? Like every tiny piece of it. And so he could just verbally tell you how his average swim would go. Mm-hmm. And so then his coach asked him, what's the worst that can happen to you in the water? And his response was not being able to see. So his coach said, all right, visualizing that. And actually, I think most of us, if we watch the Olympics or we watch any news about the Olympics, most of us can visualize Michael Phelps coming out of the water, putting his goggles on the top of his head and slamming both hands down on the water. And that moment actually is when he came up out of the water thinking he lost because he just did his whole swim without being able to see.
Wow.
But that swim broke all records because he planned for it and he didn't even have the chance to see what happened. He came up smacking the water in frustration, but he had planned for it so perfectly and he swam better than he had ever swam before and won all records.
Wow.
Or beat all records up until that point. Mm-hmm. And so today I was here to talk to you about being the architect of your own life, because that's in essence what I want to talk to you about. And just that same idea, planning for the worst case scenario, not focusing on it, not having it be all you think about, but just being aware that stumbling blocks happen and your goggles can fill with water. And that doesn't mean you just stop swimming. Yeah. Right? There are ways to get around things. And so I was just showing Kim this right before we started, but this book is just a spectacular book. You can find it. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. And you can find it actually on Hoopla. I'm sure it's on Audible. I don't have Audible, but you can find it in a lot of places or just buy the actual book. But he talks a lot about how habits are, what habits are, how they dictate our life and things like that. And so before I share with you an actual practice that can help people be the architect of their own life, I just want to read this one quote from here because there were two that I wanted to read, but I can't find the other one quickly. So I'm just going to read this one because I think it's so powerful. So he talks about the struggle of your understanding your habits. And he says the progress, unlearning habits requires unlearning, right? So it's the progress of unlearning. Becoming the best version of yourself requires you to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. So the reason why that is super powerful for me as a wellness and support coach and for Kim as a weight loss coach is because if you identify as a person who is X, Y, or Z, overweight, can't lose the weight, I have tried everything and nothing works for me, that becomes the identity that you believe, and you become that person.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I excel at reaching my dreams. I try again every single day. Every day is a new day. Whatever the words are
I'm
that
just
you,
a woman who eats healthy.
I'm just a woman that eats healthy. Perfect. And so the idea that we have to upgrade and expand and look beyond what we are today is just extremely powerful. And then if you can be so expansive as to look at what would be the things that would block you, and then what you would do to get on the other side of that block.
Yeah.
So I did do a talk at one point in my group about journaling. So I just want to share this this kind of journaling with you, because I think it's actually extremely powerful if you can let yourself, expand. So it's called future pacing or dream journaling. Some people might call it manifesting. I think it's manifestation with a step beyond. The idea is that you have, and some people really don't like the term manifesting. So
The manifestation makes it sound like there's no action involved.
Well, and which is why I prefer future pacing, because dream journaling makes it sound like you're writing your dreams as if like you just woke up. But it is a little bit of dreaming and a little bit of seeing yourself of who you're going to be. And so essentially what this kind of journaling is you take a moment and sit in with the future you. So whatever your goal is to lose 87 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And so you sit there and you visualize this woman that you are becoming, to the point where you have now become that person. And you are living the life of the woman who lost 87 pounds because that was her goal and she strived towards it. Mm-hmm. And then you take the journal and you write a letter to yourself. So whether this future you is a year from today, 3 years from today, whatever that is, and you write a letter to the you that is now that says something like, and I told Kim I had some notes for myself, and hopefully this is not the part that I go a little, I have no notes for myself. This is all off the cuff, unfortunately for you guys, but so your journal would be something along the lines of, I feel so blessed that I stuck with my goal and I reached my goal of losing 87 pounds. I am feeling amazing in my skin. I am loving the clothes that I wear. I'm so thankful that I got the coach that guided me through my hardest bits. I struggled with not eating that cake at that birthday party. And I realized after giving into that desire that eating that cake just made me feel worse. And now I know that when I have that desire to eat the cake, I don't need to. I can tell myself it's just going to make myself feel gross. And I have overcome that. And so with each, that would be a little piece of the journal. So the journal is talking about what you've accomplished. It's thanking yourself and those that have helped you, because I believe gratitude is one of the strongest things we can have in this life. And it's talking about, and so I touched on maybe needing a coach is one roadblock that you don't know how to get past, because you have a bunch of roadblocks and you don't know how to get past them. So you ask for help. And so you've asked for help and you've gotten a coach, a trainer, a nutritionist, whatever the words are, but you've asked for help. You now have that help. You now have been able to recognize that you have had pitfalls, right? You ate that cake when you didn't want to, and still you're okay because still you reached your goal. And so in that journal, that journal entry gives a little bit of all of that in it. And it definitely talks more about the clothes you're wearing and the way you're feeling and how appreciative you are of your body. But it also talks about the pitfalls and the roadblocks and how you would overcome them. And that journal entry, that letter to yourself, will be something that gets redone. To have it be very effective for you, it is redone, it is reread, it is rewritten and reread and rewritten, right? And because partly as you go through life and you go step by step towards your goal, you find different roadblocks.
Yeah.
Right. And you find different things that are going to knock you down, and you get to decide if they hold you down. And by rewriting that journal entry again and again, you're saying, no, it's not holding me down because I already know this person already exists. I'm getting there. I'm doing that.
But I have my clients, I include that in the 90-day program. That's one of the things that they do, is write that letter to themselves. So I love how you're talking about that. And I had a client actually message me yesterday telling me, because we've been together for 90 days. So she's now telling me, like, part of her journal prompts for yesterday were, think about where you were and where you are now and tell me the difference. And oh my gosh, the mindset change, like all of those things that in the beginning she thought wasn't even possible, but she's, been visualizing herself, her future self. And now she's seeing the evidence of some of that happening just after 90 days. It's so amazing.
It really is. It really is. So does she enjoy I'm just curious, because some people, it's very difficult. And things are simple, but that doesn't mean they're easy. But so I'm curious if she enjoys the process of writing that future pacing letter.
So she hates the writing, and she lives a very busy life. So we've actually tailored the program so that she connects with me on Voxer. So instead of writing out her journal prompts, she tells me the answers to her journal prompts through Voxer. And so some mornings, because her day starts earlier than mine, some mornings I'll wake up and she's been chatting for half an hour. And I listen to it, and I can hear the process as she talks it through and verbalizes it, where whether you verbalize it or whether you write it down, one or the other is important. Because if you just go, oh yeah, that's a good thought, it doesn't sink in. So her doing her journals just through the Voxer has been really powerful for her.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah. So, and I will recommend this book. I love that. I think it's worth it. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do in life. It's just powerful to understand how habits, dictate us.
For sure. Well, thank you. There's probably so much more we could talk about, but I know we try and keep it close to 20 minutes so we don't lose everybody. But it's been great having you here. And I think, I would like for us to be able to do this again, even a couple months from now. And
I agree.
I think there's so much that we didn't touch on that we could touch on again down the road.
Yes.
So
yes, I agree.
So tell us how we can find you. How can people work with you?
Wonderful. Yes. So my business and my Facebook group is Empowering You with Stef. And my website is actually just my name, stefrichthammer.com. And I'm a life and wellness support coach. So I have a program that is a small group program that is based on getting super clear on your goals, setting up exactly what they are, how to get there. And then it's small group just for other women to support you weekly, give you ideas, bounce ideas off of them. And everybody is supporting each other throughout. And I actually have had people say, that sounds amazing, but I am not part of a group. I was like, that's fine. I do have one-on-one accountability as well. And I do one-on-one coaching, which is just deeper. And it's really all about prioritizing the woman, prioritizing you. You cannot give without being full. And we've all heard you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's true. But luckily, the cup is refillable. And so
Yes.
I am here to aid people in remembering that and just how to fill that cup back up.
And if you've never tried a group program, they're actually amazing. Like the girls that have been in my group program, they feel like sisters now.
Yes.
And
Yes.
a couple of the girls are finished, and so they're going on, moving, like graduating. And so it feels like, oh, our sisterhood is gone.
I will say the women that have gone through my group have stayed friends, have communicated with each other outside of the group. And so,
Yeah.
you know, we as women tend to give and give and give. And it is an interesting thing to think of. The reason why we give is it feeds us.
Yes.
And so when we're not asking for help and we're not letting somebody else help us, we're not feeding them. Right. So that's kind of what this group offers. And again, it has been very powerful for the women that have gone through this group with me. And so I think group programs are spectacular. I've actually done a couple myself and thought that they are wonderful. But
yeah.
So that is how you can find me.
All right. I've put the link to your group in there and your website. So if there's anything else you want to add, you can add that in the comments when we're done.
Yes, I will. I actually have a resource that I am offering your group, which maybe if they work with you, they will not need it, but it's just a outline of how to do future pacing.
Love it. Oh, awesome. Great.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, Kim.
Thank you for being here, Steph. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.